We have all experienced evil in our lives, both within and without. Yet, the nature of evil remains a deep and mysterious reality for us, a reality that we may not want to deal with, but one that we must face again and again. With this video essay, I'm starting a series of videos dedicated to discussing the various facets of this mystery as portrayed in different movies. I couldn't think of a better way to start than with a movie that brilliantly portrays the complex nature of evil, the Coen brothers' No Country for Old Men. In this video, we'll take a look at how evil appears in the lives of the main characters and how they try to respond to it. We'll also discuss how chance, fate, and morality relate to the way evil is portrayed in the story. Finally, we'll draw some lessons for our own struggles with evil. But first, let's take a quick look at the plot to get the overall context of the film. The plot follows the path of the war veteran Llewellyn Moss after he stumbles upon a drug deal gone bad on the plains of Texas. Moss steals a case of cash containing $2 million that he found at the location. The owners of the money send the ruthless killer Anton Chigurh after him, and then a second man, Carson Wells, when they realize Chigurh's unpredictable behavior. Meanwhile, aging Sheriff Bell tries to protect Moss' wife, Carla Jean, and get to him before Chigurh does. However, a Mexican cartel makes its own grab for the money, killing Moss in the process. The money disappears, Chigurh kills Jean and escapes, and Bell decides that his time as sheriff is over after reflecting on what happened. Finally, Bell tells his wife about two seemingly unrelated dreams. Now, let's take a closer look at the main characters, Chigurh, Moss, and Bell. We'll see how the themes of fate and morality play out in their lives, and how these themes are ultimately intertwined with the theme of evil. We know from the beginning that there is no way to reason with Anton Chigurh. He positions himself outside of collective human nature. He shows almost no emotion, calculated movement, and a high resistance to pain. He pursues his target with ruthless determination. He lacks remorse, empathy, and concern for human beings. The cattle gun is symbolic of this. We are never told his background, and so he remains a mystery to us, as does evil itself. Chigurh clearly does not adhere to the same moral code as everyone else. His murders are so solemn and unremorseful because he sees himself as simply carrying out the decrees of fate. When someone sins against his inner logic, whatever it may be, he decides to let chance decide their fate. He tosses the coin and lets the person call his own fate, so that he can carry out what has been decided, such as what happens to the shopkeeper whom he thought was greedy. And so he takes no moral responsibility for the killing because it is not his choice. Whether someone is deemed worthy to live or not is fine with him. However, the episode with the shopkeeper shows that there is one moral vice that he will not tolerate: greed. We can also see that Anton is not interested in money, at least not the way he is portrayed in the movie. Rather, he's out to kill any greedy man who crosses his path, and so he kills Carson, several members of the Mexican cartel, and even the people from the company that hired him. It is also Moss' greed that leads Anton to kill Carla Jean. Now, I want to focus on what I consider to be one of the most important scenes in the movie, the conversation between Anton and Carla Jean.
Call it.
No. I ain't gonna call it.
Call it.
The coin don't have no say. It's just you.
I got here the same way the coin did.
This is the only time someone succeeds in breaking his logic. She forces him to choose to kill her, and thus take responsibility for his actions. We know that Anton decided to kill her, and we also know that right after that, Anton is injured in a random car accident. At first, it looks like this happened to him completely by accident, but if we pay attention to the scene, we will see that Anton is unusually distracted while driving. No wonder he misses a car coming straight at him. The Anton we have known so far would have never made such a mistake. He was always focused on the task at hand. For the first time, we see a weakness in Anton. For the first time, we see an aspect of him that we can call human. His encounter with Carla Jean was an encounter with responsibility and objective morality. This encounter changed him, humanized him in a way. Also, for the first time, Anton does not respond to greed. We see the two children fighting over the money Anton gave one of them, but he just walks away as if he didn't notice. This was certainly not the Anton we knew. Now let's look at Llewellyn Moss. He's a complex character, morally ambiguous and with good intentions. He steals the money he finds, but wants to use it to improve his life and that of his wife, Carla Jean. He is portrayed as a decent guy, seen bringing water to a dying man and remaining faithful to his wife. Moss' ultimate downfall is not only due to his greed, but also to his overconfidence. He thinks he can outsmart Anton Chigurh and handle everything on his own, even putting his wife's life in danger. Even though he knows he's being followed by other dangerous people, he believes he has everything under control. His downfall comes when he is killed by a random hitman sent by the Mexican cartel. As the Mexican singers in the film remind us, Moss wanted too much wealth and played with fire. His overconfidence ultimately led to his downfall. Moss' character teaches that we cannot defeat evil by using the same weapons evil uses. As tempting as it may be to fight fire with fire, it ultimately leads to destruction. Instead, we must approach evil with a sense of humility, recognizing our limitations and seeking help from others. While we may have our own strengths and talents, there are certain evils that we cannot overcome alone. Sheriff Bell is a man of high moral standards, dedicated to upholding truth and justice. However, he struggles to come to terms with the reality of the world he lives in, and often looks back on the past with nostalgia. Things used to be simpler for him: good guys against bad guys, white hats against black hats. He knew how to operate in that scenario and had a sense of control that made him feel safe, but now he has to face the real world. But he says he doesn't want to face something he doesn't understand. And who can understand Anton Chigurh? Bell eventually quits because he feels overwhelmed. He seeks solace and wisdom from his cousin Ellis, who reminds him that the world has always been a place of tragedy and injustice. Ellis tells him the story of his uncle's tragic death decades ago, underscoring the notion that the struggle between good and evil has always been present in this world. Bell realizes that it is a form of vanity to think that he can completely defeat evil in this world. He cannot and should not be the savior of the world. Bell's reflections on the absence of God in his life suggest that he is dealing with a deeper existential crisis. He feels unable to comprehend the nature of evil, just as he is unable to comprehend the nature of God and of good itself. This realization is a testament to the complexity and inscrutability of human experience, and to the limits of our understanding in the face of profound moral questions. Still, at the end of No Country for Old Men, we can find some light on how to deal with the mystery of evil. As Moss' tragic end suggests, fighting evil with evil may not end up well. Rather, as Bell's second dream suggests, while we are not expected to save the world from the darkness of evil, we are called to be a light in the darkness, carrying the fire forward to those who will come after us. Thank you for watching this episode of The Mystery of Evil. What do you think of how evil is depicted in No Country for Old Men? Is there anything I missed? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you are at it, leave a suggestion for a film you would like to see covered in a future entry in the series. If you like this video and would like to see more content like this, you may hit the subscribe button to make sure you won't miss future videos. Again, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.